everyone, welcome to Donkey Kong Country, one of my all-time favorite games. This is one of the gems from my childhood, and I'm sure for pretty much everyone else's. A lot of people love this game. Yep, all his bananas are gone. Who would do such a thing? So where should I begin? This is one of the very first games I ever played on the Super NES. We actually bought it from a pawn shop, believe it or not. And it had someone's name on it too. Yeah, it had someone's name on it. I don't remember whose. I don't remember how much it even cost. That was back when we lived in North Philadelphia. And there was this nearby pawn shop that would sell games all the time. And we actually bought it there one time. I believe it was probably shortly after we bought Mega Man X. Because the first games we ever bought were Super Mario World and then Mega Man X. That was really how I started my first Super NES collection. Oh, there was the life that we missed. Oh well. That's not a worry. We'll accumulate lives quickly enough, so I'm not too concerned. Yeah, we got a lot of games from that pawn shop. Some of them were great. A couple of them weren't very good, but most of them turned out alright. I also remember seeing the what was that NES system thing, the Duck Hunt game with the Super Scope. I remember seeing that there one time. We never got that. I think there wasn't much interest in anyone getting the actual original Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo was obviously far better. So I don't think we ever really had too much interest in getting an old Nintendo. Like the only games I really only played for the old Nintendo have largely been Mega Man X games and Mario games. Those are really the only original NES games I've played. Oh, and Kirby's Adventure. I've played that. I guess Tetris might count. I don't recall if Tetris was on the original Nintendo or not. I know it was on the Game Boy. Has always been the frog. And I'm kind of sad he never came back in the... Did he come back in the other games or not? I know he's at least in the second... I mean... Yeah, is he in the second or not? Like, I guess everyone likes On Guard, the fish, but I always prefer the frog. And his bonus stage is a lot easier to navigate. And get a lot of bananas there for extra lives. You know, the ostrich's bonus stages, it can be a bit rough if you don't get the hang of him. The rhinos is okay. Ramby's the one that came back for all the games, right? I think he's in all of them. Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. And I think he might even be in the Donkey Kong Land games, right? We always thought he sounded like a dog when he's panting like that. game has an awesome music too. There's some excellent theme tracks here. Yeah, I think Rambi's the only animal body besides the fish that came back for all 3 of the games, wasn't he? And I guess since the Donkey Kong Land games are pretty much just miniaturized versions of Donkey Kong Country, I guess they have all the animal bodies there too, right? Oops, there goes Diddy Kong. Just more bananas. I miss those days when you could discover old games. I mean, yeah, old games, also new games like that. Just in places like pawn shops and whatever. You know, the thrill of finding a game that you didn't know whether it was gonna be good or not, but the cover looked interesting, or the cartridge looked interesting. You know. This game was always fun to play too. I'd say it's slightly below Super Mario World. Like it's almost as good, but not quite. Reason being that the 2-player here, you have 3 different game modes. You have a single player, you have the other 2-player, but it's not like Mario World where one player can complete a stage and it counts for both players. Here, you're either competing with each other or you're oh damn, we missed the second bonus stage, I believe. You're either competing with each other or you're part of a team. So I always felt the multiplayer in Mario was better. You know, one person clear stage, another person would also clear another stage, and so forth, and you can get them done together. As opposed to here, where you're either competing as part of a race, because Cranky Kong even admits it, or you're part of a team, which can be difficult depending on whether the other player is good or not. So I always prefer 2-player mode in Mario over this. This game was always a classic, and it's really one of the games that really showed what the Super Nintendo could do compared to the NES. Because the NES was okay for its time, but it was, by the time the Super Nintendo came out, it was pretty outdated as it was, you know. I believe the Genesis actually came out first, right? Did the Genesis come out first, or was it... Oh, when was the Sega Master System? Yeah, when was the Master System released? I never played that system at all. I never had a Genesis at all, but I've played some of the games through emulation or collections. But I have no idea when the specific dates came out. Amused me how Diddy and Donkey Kong are the same size, because one's a monkey and Donkey Kong's a gorilla. Wouldn't Donkey Kong be much larger than Diddy Kong? Or I guess Diddy's still young, and... No, because even if he's still young, he's already almost the same size. So shouldn't Donkey Kong be much larger than Diddy Kong? If we're getting accurate. Like they care about accuracy about a couple of video game monkeys. So Mario has the better game, but I think I actually prefer Donkey Kong as a protagonist. You know, you gotta love a gorilla with tie. Let's go visit Cranky Kong. So Cranky will give you hints on what to do. There's another mystery, right? What happened to Donkey Kong Jr.? Like, is the current Donkey Kong Jr., or did Donkey Kong Jr. just get snapped out of existence? Like, what happened to him? We saw him once in Mario Kart and then never saw him again. I've got a lot of these bonus stages memorized. What did happen to Donkey Kong Jr.? it would make sense if Cranky was his father. But then I've heard it said that Cranky Kong may actually be this Donkey Kong's grandfather, in which case, like I said, where's Donkey Kong Jr.? Where did he go off to? Did he just go out for milk in the jungle and never came back? You know, is Donkey Kong his son, and then he just left the raising of him to Cranky Kong? I guess maybe that's why he's so cranky. Like, what did happen to that guy? Also, didn't Miyamoto not like this game at first? Like, he said he didn't really hate on it, but he said at the time, I believe, something like, it proved that Americans will buy anything. So I guess he didn't want to admit that it was a good game or not. Which is crazy to me because this game is awesome. It's a fine game, so I don't know what problem he had with it other than, like I said, maybe the 2-player mode wasn't to his satisfaction. He preferred the original. Because in his Mario games, one player always can complete the stage and then someone else can complete another stage. You don't have it like this where it's competition, so maybe that's the part he didn't like, the fact that 2-player mode's kind of busted, you know? Like, you can't really cooperate on stages because in teams, you know, if one person beats a stage, the other person still has to beat it. And if you're cooperating as a team, depending on the other person's skills, it could be a bit rough. So maybe that's one thing he didn't like about it. Or maybe he just plain doesn't like Donkey Kong as much as Mario. Because obviously he created Mario, so that would be his favorite. But then he created Donkey Kong too, so maybe he didn't like the fact that it was an American team working on it. Rare, you know? This is famously the game that got Rare started. Maybe they made something else before that, but this was like their first great achievement in gaming. And it was a good one. Way to get off of a bang. And nowadays Rare is just a shell of its former self. It's just Microsoft has killed its soul. It's like Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. He just steals people's souls. That's what Microsoft did to Rare. It just stole their soul. You know, your soul is mine. And which is a frustrating thing for fans of the Xbox console. I'm not one of them. Like, I have a 360, but I've never been interested in the Xbox One or the Series S or Series X. The only Xbox game one that really got me was Killer Instinct, because I'd played the first one on Super NES and possibly arcade, and I don't remember, but I'd played the first one, and so I really wanted to play that one, but it was Xbox exclusive, because that was when Microsoft bought Rare, so we couldn't get Killer Instinct on any other system. Damn, we missed out on the life. Those octopuses are always interesting. Octopi? Is that what multiple ones are called? They behave more like spiders than octopus. We're missing some, I believe. Let's see. Make sure that... oh yeah, he is over here. Damn. Yeah, where is it? We're missing an area. Maybe it's later on, where you can get a whole bunch of bananas. Yeah, maybe it's over here. That's the frustrating thing about Microsoft, like I was saying, they buy a lot of studios and then do nothing with them, you know? Oh, it's over here. This is the area we were missing. Look at that double on guard. No, that's not it either. It's another area. Oh, here it is. We got him back. Here it is. That's what we were looking for. I forgot what the ostrich's name is. Is it Stretch or... I forgot what his name is. Make sure to come back here. Yeah, the thing about the ostrich is you gotta control his flight, because he doesn't fly very far, so if you don't control it, you can't get as many of the little symbols there. And you gotta remember, go back here for the large idol. That's what gets you the bonus. Oh yeah, look at that. 4 lives right there. Oh, I think he's Express, right? I think that's his name, Express, the ostrich. He did not show up in Donkey Kong 2, I believe, right? They replaced him with the parrot. I guess not enough people like old Express. You can understand why. Like, I think next to the fish, I think he's the worst of the animal buddies. You know, I don't really like him that much. I like the spider from Donkey Kong 2. The way he can make webs and just climb, you know? I like him. The parrot's useful, but the parrot also has some of the worst stages in Donkey Kong Country 2. You know, like, that game's great. It's probably one of the greatest games of all time, but there are some stages there that are questionable, to say the least, and the parrot gets at least 2 or 3 of them. Like, those bramble stages, as they're called, they are not fun to play. Then you get some questionable moments in the castle too. Yeah, I think my favorite all-time animal body would be the frog. Love the frog. It's a shame he didn't appear more. Like I said, I don't think he's in 2, right? I haven't played 2 in a long time, but I don't think he's there. Or is he? I don't remember. There's Funky Kong. But we can't go anywhere since we're still in the first world, so... He changed to a biplane in the second game, which I didn't really like. I prefer this one where he has a jet with a barrel in it. Didn't really like the biplane. I did like that he was surfing in the air on a surfboard. Oh, we screwed that up. Oh, there we go. Speaking of buying stuff up and then not using it, that game company Unity announced that they were closing Weta. People got all in a panic, and it's not Weta that made the effects. It's actually their R&D department. So it's not quite as bad, but they're still firing 256 people, which sucks because if you buy the company, at least you can do is guarantee those people a job. And apparently they only bought the company because they wanted access to the tools Weta had created, which is all sorts of scumbaggery right there for Unity. And I hear that companies really hate it as it is, and now people are just gonna hate them more for putting nearly 300 people out of work, 256 people gone, because they just wanted to buy some digital effects tools. That's sort of the stuff that makes you go that some sales should not be approved. Like, I'm sure if Peter Jackson knew that's what they were going to do, he would never have sold them Weta. He sold it to them for 1.6 billion, which is great for him, but remember, he built that company basically from the ground up. So if him, and I don't know if he founded it, but the Lord of the Rings films really helped put that company in the map with Gollum and then King Kong. So if he'd have known they were going to close part of it, he never would have sold it to them. Like I said, that's the type of thing that makes you question that some sales should not go through. Like, the company should have to state specifically what they're doing with the company when they buy it, and if they deviate from that, you get a penalty at least. You should not be allowed to get away with stuff like that. It's kind of similar when companies buy licenses and then do nothing with them. This is the easiest boss in Nintendo history. God damn, he can't do anything. They're just beating up on that giant beaver. Alright, Winky's walkway. That means we're gonna get the frog. Remember Winky the Crow from Corn Nuts? He only had one eye. And I think he was supposed to be psychic too. Remember that guy? That was a cool mascot. I wonder why he disappeared. I guess because corn nuts aren't really that popular anymore, so they had no more use for Winky. But I always like his commercials. Come to think of it, maybe the frog is in Donkey Kong Country 2. I guess we'll see when we get to that game next time. After this. Because we're going to be playing this next week since we got a late start on it. But I think he might be in 2, right? I think it's the ostrich that isn't there. We're about to check. That's an easy stage. I always like this jingle too that they play after completing the stages. Oh, Minecart Carnage. This is everybody's favorite set of stages, isn't it? I believe there's one stage where when you get to the beginning, it's a minecart stage, you can just walk back on the exit and it'll put you right at the end. Is there something here or not underneath? I don't recall. And I'm gonna risk it. I think there might be something under there, but I don't recall. I'm sure this inspired the Resident Evil 4 guys just as much as Indiana Jones did. Everybody always points to Indiana Jones as a minecart inspiration, but I think Donkey Kong did a lot more with it. Indiana Jones had one minecart section, Donkey Kong had them in pretty much every game, so I think they're definitely a lot more inspiration for some gaming aspects with minecart than actual Indiana Jones. Indy just had that one scene and that was it. Okay, so remember how I said that On Guard was the worst of the animal bodies? I think it's pretty much because of stuff like this. Where he's actually, it's not very easy at all to get the mini idols with him, because what happens is you run out of time. You know, he has to navigate all these obstacles that the other guys don't, and so it's not easy to get a lot of lives with On Guard. He also doesn't have his charge attack here that he does in the second game. You can just charge with your nose right there since he's a swordfish, but he doesn't have the charge attack that you do in the second game. I mean, you can just charge it and he'll smash through anything. He just has the basic attack here. Yeah, you see, it's not easy at all to get 100 of the little, I guess they are coins in a way, right? The little coins with him. We just ran out of time. Yeah, you just ran out of time too quickly. But we're already up to 35. One thing I do like about Donkey Kong Over Mario is that it does preserve the lives that you gather. Because in Mario you start over unless you're playing on the Super NES Mini like I am here, and you save the save state. If you just save at the ghost houses, you lose all the lives that you gather. So that's why it's kind of critical to save near that secret area in the Forest of Illusion. Save close to that stage where you can gather a ton of lives in Mario. Oops, we're dead. Yeah, that went sideways. Is there something here? Let's see. Yep, there it is. Oh yeah, that puts us near the end of the stage. No wonder. Wasting all that time doing the actual stage when all you had to do was just this. And in the other one, like I said, you just walk back and it puts you near the end. Let's give Donkey Kong a stage. Diddy Kong's beaten way too many stages. One thing about Diddy Kong is though he can hold the barrels lower, so that makes it a lot more useful to uncover the secret areas, because Donkey Kong has to aim them, and the problem with that is if he aims too high, you're gonna overshoot your target and you won't get the bonus stage. But Diddy Kong can obviously is weaker than Donkey Kong, so he can't. God damn. He can't really kill the larger enemies without a barrel. You need Donkey Kong for that. I think we wasted the bonus stage there. I think that's where we're supposed to use the barrel right there. Oh well. Maybe there's another one? Oh yeah, it is right there, because then we would exit out here. So we missed that bonus stage. least we got the letters, because we got Co so far. We need NG. We want to put this tire over here so you can get up here and get some more bananas, get the letter. Those bees become a problem in the second game. You have a whole stage of those guys. The whole carnival area. It's just nothing but bees. It's full of bees everywhere. Oh, we got Winky. Also, Mario, you can take Yoshi with you. Here, you can't really take the animal bodies with you. You have to start over each stage. So that there are some subtle or even great differences between the two games. So, but you gotta appreciate that the Super NES had so many great platformers. You know, the only other system that has so many great platformers is probably the PS1, right? With Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Croc. Remember Croc? Everybody forgot about Croc. Be careful here. They'll knock Winky out if you touch him. Remember Croc? Legend of the Gobos? I think they made a Croc 2, didn't they? And then Sears just died and he hasn't been seen since. But you had those platformers. You had 2D platformers like Rayman and Gex. Weirdo platformers that only made one game and then never made another game again. So there was there were a lot of good platformers on the PS. Yeah, this is the stage. Oh, this is the one. It wasn't minecart stage. This one where you just walk back and there you go. And it was nice of Rare to include all those shortcuts. Show some creative thinking because not many people are gonna think to walk back. But if you do, you can avoid the whole stage. Remember Tasmanian Devil? I never played that one. Bubsy. Although Bubsy, I think that was N64, right? I think it was kind of a disgrace. Like the game didn't work out at all. Bubsy 3D was considered one of the worst games ever made. You really have to pick which one you want there, because if you miss on the K, it's all over for the Kong. You can't get the bonus. There's our tire, which we can use to yeah, what do we use this for? I forgot. Oh, it's to get over here. Those guys were always funny. They look like beavers and giant hamster wheels. Here's Rare doing their stuff promoting. Miss Diddy Kong being in a platformer. We need an actual good Donkey Kong game, because Tropical Freeze, for when I played with it, was not that great, man. It's not that great at all. I think you want to avoid this because it's an area here. Yep. Yeah, Tropical Freeze is not that great. I think the issue is like the team they got to do those games, Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, they're good at imitating Rare style, but they just can't quite grasp it. They can't quite duplicate it. They can only copy it like 85%. The 15% that's off, you really notice it. Like the games, first of all, they're hard as hell, so the difficulty is not adjusted. But secondly, like I said, you really notice the lack of attention to certain details that Rare wouldn't forget about. You kind of see the same thing with Crash Bandicoot and Toys for Bob. Like Toys for Bob is a great developer. They did great work on the Spyro games, but when it came time to do the Crash Bandicoot 4, they really should have given it to Vicarious Visions, because Toys for Bob kind of did a good job in some ways, and then they kind of did a horrible job in other ways. In Crash Bandicoot 4, that game is difficult as hell, and there are some extremely frustrating parts of it. You know, so I think I would have preferred Vicarious Visions doing that instead of Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob should have done Spyro 4. They should have just stuck to Spyro. There's one useful aspect of Winky right there. He can avoid the nuts that those birds throw. This is tricky right here. You actually can jump low with Winky. He doesn't just jump high. You know, you gotta time it right. Let's kill the boss with Donkey Kong, because, man, Diddy Kong's getting all the credit. Let's get him with Donkey Kong. Oops, now we have to kill him with Donkey Kong for sure. Because we don't have Diddy Kong anymore. How big is that bird? For you to only see his neck and his head, that bird must be gigantic. Like, he's probably the size of one of those banana piles. Because that bird is huge. Right, we're up at Vulture Culture, so we're making great progress. This is a unique stage too, right? This is more forest and jungle. I don't believe we've ever gone back to this stage, have we? In any of the other Donkey Kong games? Nice music too. Oops, we screwed that up. It's a nice forest stage here. Damn, we overshot that jump. That's also the thing about Diddy. If he's in first, he can fly longer than Donkey Kong can on those jumps, so you might not want to have him. You might want to keep Donkey Kong at the forefront when you're doing those jumps, because you might overshoot it with Diddy Kong, like we did just there. I believe also when I first got this game, that was back when X-Files was really hitting its stride, so it was nice to play something like this, have this nice forest stage. Then you'd have some nice forest episodes of the X-Files too. I know they're not related to each other at all, but I really like nice forest settings in shows and games and movies. You know, I prefer it over jungle. Jungle's fine, but I prefer the forest. Like in Metal Gear Solid 3, that most of that area is forest, so it's funny you hear the boss talking about sneaking through the jungle. It's like, what jungle? We're in the forest. We're not in a jungle. And that's some beautiful scenery in that game too. MGS3. It's probably one of my all-time favorite games ever, but I especially love the forest setting of that game. And I didn't think I would, because after playing 1 and 2, that's actually one of the reasons why I didn't buy the game at first. Why I instead requested Jak 3 for my birthday and then got MGS3 later, because I wasn't sure I was gonna like the forest setting, or the fact that it was in 1960 instead of modern times. And boy, was I wrong, because I actually got somewhat pissed off at Jak for his twist. I didn't appreciate the end twist of Jak 3 at the time. I do now, it's hilarious now, but I didn't appreciate it back then. And also the story's kind of weird in some parts, so I thought I made a mistake by definitely getting Jak 3 instead of Metal Gear. But they're both great games. I appreciate both of them greatly now. Especially Jak 3, considering what Naughty Dog's become. Where they're basically just the Last of Us studio now. That's all they do. Last of Us. Recycle it over and over again. They never do anything original, anything new. All they do is just Last of Us non-stop. So I really appreciate Jak 3 in the context of what they've become. Because it's kind of sad to see them that way. A once great game studio reduced to solely one single game. Just sucks. I thought Rockstar was gonna end up like that, but they actually announced GTA 6 recently, so they saved themselves from that pit of only being the GTA 5 studio. Now they have 6, so at least they have something else. And I guess Red Dead too, but I don't play Red Dead, so. games are so tricky when you were a kid, and now they're just easy. The challenge definitely did not evolve with the times. I kind of like that though, the fact that they're not super hard. You can go back there and just have a nice fun time, relaxing, playing these games. I was not supposed to play this right now. I was gonna save it until next week, or try to somehow miraculously do it this evening. But goddamn, I had to wash the taste out of Resident Evil Separate Ways out of my mouth. Oh my god, that frigging game. Trying to do the one thing I had left, the challenge to do a trophy to beat Ada section of the game, Separate Ways, with an S ranking under 2.5 hours. That is probably one of the worst mistakes I've ever made this year as far as gaming. That thing is impossible, it's infuriating, it's poorly designed. Ooh, you overshot that jump. You don't notice how poorly until you're playing the game on professional mode, and then it's just hell. It's literally utterly hell. And I spent 3 hours doing this to the point where I thought I'm not gonna be able to record Donkey Kong because we got no more time left. But you know what? I needed something to wash out the taste of this freaking game. That's a trap right there. Don't fall for it. You will die. That's a trap. These treetop stages have some stages there where you think you see a banana, you see a banana below, and you think, oh, there's a jump down there, there's a secret stage. No, there's nothing there. It's a trap to lure you to your doom. I'm sure this was also inspired by the Ewok village in Return of the Jedi, wasn't it? You can just see it clearly in the design. Like it's almost a one-for-one copy. Which I like. The Ewoks are underrated. Like, you don't have to like the fact that they beat the Empire, but they have a cool design in terms of the little town and all up in the treetops. Don't grab that unless you're sure you have 2 ostriches. I am not, so I'm gonna leave it there. Because otherwise this is instant death. This is instant death if you grab that, so don't do it. We should be coming up on Candy Con section soon. I think we're gonna save there. Because it's almost 4:30 a.m. so Resident Evil took up a lot of my time, but goddamn was that a mistake. Don't play Resident Evil 4 Remake Separate Ways on professional mode and try to get the S rank. Don't do it. Just, if you're able to be professional mode like I did, just be content with the achievement for beating profession mode. You did it, you cleared the game, and if you got it in under 4 hours and you had the Chicago sweeper, even better. But goddamn, do not attempt that if your life, like if you value your sanity, do not attempt that freaking challenge. It is painful. It is hell. Like there's no point in even trying to do that unless you're a complete masochist who enjoys suffering. It's just hideous. Great toss, Diddy Kong. Real grade A effort there. That was not what I wanted to do. Bees are astounding, right? The fact that they can hover like that, both in here and in real life, they can just hover in the air. That's pretty cool. Bees. Not too many animals have their own hovering ability. So the island is shaped like Donkey Kong's head, but he doesn't really own all of it, right? Like the Kongs don't actually own most of the island, because you can see all of this stuff is savage. So like I guess they kind of own only like their little town or their little area. That's all they own. Because otherwise it's a massive island. And you can see here all of this is painfully uncivilized. There's nothing here, so. Ooh, that life is not worth it. Unless you desperately need an extra life, usually it's not worth it because you use your partner. Are those condors or vultures? I don't. Oh yeah, there are vultures. It says on the title. I forgot which one it is. Is it this one or is it the other one? Oh, yeah, we screwed it up. I think it was that one. I actually have a little guide I bought many years ago that shows all the bonus areas for Donkey Kong Country 2, but I don't have one for the first game. So those I do have to look up. Oh yeah, we're almost there. There's Candy Kong right there. I think we're gonna save once we get to her. Yeah, goddamn, that challenge was no joke, man. I just had to wash the taste out of. Oh damn, we screwed it up. We needed Diddy Kong for that. There he is right there. Now these guys are gonna get up and roll after you, so be prepared. With their giant hamster wheels that look like they were designed by the Mayans. So I'm guessing this was all left over by another ancient civilization that nobody knows who they are. Because the Kong sure as hell didn't build this. Hell no. I think Cranky Kong would bother building this stuff. I know they made the this reminds me that they made the Kong area in the Mario movie. They made it like this theme, but obviously I don't think the Kongs built this, right? I think somebody else built this. I just don't see the Kongs lazy as they are building something of this stature. Unless it was their great ancestors, who knows? Might have to look that up in the Donkey Kong wiki. I'm sure there is one, because if there's one for Mario, there's gotta be one for Donkey Kong, easily. Let's do Diddy Kong for this one. He's more nimble. I always thought this was a ripoff as a kid. Like you get a bundle of bananas, but they're steadily increasing. But you know, you never get the full amount until you finally beat them. So you're getting like a bunch of bananas and only give you 1 or 2 at a time. I always thought that was a ripoff. Oh yeah. You wanna go up top here for Ramby's section. Because it may seem like you're missing out on a ton of little rhinos there. You get this part here, which gives you. Oh yeah, but the thing is, you do have to get a lot of them first, so it can give you 2. I forgot about that. You do have to have some of them. Because if you don't have some of them, there's nothing to multiply. Not that we need lives though, because we already have 49, so we don't need. We have plenty of lives. Yeah, so you do have to get some of the bottom ones first, and then you can go up top and multiply them so that they double. It is really easy to get lives here compared to Mario though, so that's one advantage Donkey Kong has over Mario. I always prefer slightly the first game because it has Donkey Kong in it. Like, you know, as cool as Diddy Kong is, he's not Donkey Kong, so I always kind of prefer the first game to the second, but I think the second game is a better overall game. You can just let that guy go. Because it'll make crossing the rope all the more easy. Alright, should we do one more stage or... Yeah, let's do one more stage, then we'll save. We can do one more. I also like the changing times here. You can see in the background it's changing and it's gradually becoming darker, so it's becoming dusk. I always thought that was a cool little detail. The only thing about these jungle stages is you get so used to the earlier sections here like this having bananas that then you kind of expected the rest of the game, and it actually doesn't happen. A lot of them don't have any bananas at all, so you kind of get a bit too used to it early on in the game. You expect them to have secret bananas hidden there, and no, there's nothing there. It's just meant to trick you, lure you into a false sense that you can get bananas at any time. Alright, so we got Express. Thing about Express you gotta remember is his legs are fragile since he's so skinny. So unfortunately he can't really step on any enemies. Damn, look at that, we completely screwed that up. You gotta get that before you get him. King K. Rool's got a lot of I forgot what these guys are called. Kremlings? He's got a lot of Kremlings working for him. He's got a giant army, pretty much. Okay, so let's not get rid of these. God damn. Gotta get rid of this guy first. There we go. See if we can get it. There it is. Now we can go get Express. Remember, he can't touch any of the enemies or else he's gonna just run off. People always wonder who this guy is too. Manky Kong? Ah, god damn. It sucks. Like, is he actually related to the Kongs or not? I don't think he is because I think he's an orangutan instead of a gorilla, so he's probably not related to them. With his magic barrels there. Yeah, I don't think Manky Kong is related to them. I think he's just some random orangutan that has a grudge against him. Or else just doesn't like people intruding on his jungle. Maybe they're just trespassers. At least we kept the O, so we still have Kong. Also, is it really just one guy, or is it... I think it has to be completely different guys, right? Because there's a whole ton of them, so Manky Kong isn't really, I think it's more like a species, right? Because it's not really... There's more than one of him. So that's where you would get Express, use it to go up there, but unfortunately we lost him, so we gotta proceed without him. Hey, we got through it. There's some bananas right there. And Diddy Kong gets most of the credit, even though Donkey Kong did all the work. This is a good stage, Clam City. I'm not sure we should play it though. It's 4:27 a.m. Should we go one more? Should we go one more? Because the next one is the boss, so then we'd have to go back in here to save. I don't know. Should we go for it? It's kind of a long stage too, Clam City. Let's go for it. If it proves too long, we just lose intentionally and save. Those enemies are cool, I just don't like that you can't kill them. Even with on guard, he doesn't do anything to them. One thing the Kongs and Mario have in common, they can hold their breath for a long time. Look at that, they can just swim freely in water. Them and Mario, they never drown. They are expert swimmers. Compared to Crash Bandicoot, who falls in like 3 feet of water and suddenly he's dead. I always thought that was silly. I get why they do it, but at the same time, it's silly that Crash will fall in like a 2-foot puddle of water and die just from that. He'll drown. He has no swimming capability at all. Meanwhile, these guys can hold their breath infinitely. They don't care. They swim expertly through this, and so does Mario. Mario doesn't even need a snorkel or anything. He just holds his breath indefinitely. But poor old Crash falls in 1 foot of water and he's dead. I always thought that was stupid. It's funny, but it's stupid that he can't handle 1 or 2 feet of water. Like, Crash, you freaking wuss. He's not even submerged. That's what makes it worse. The fact that he's not even submerged in the water. He just can't step in it or he's dead. And it's like, Crash, you're floating on the surface of the water. How the hell are you drowning? You're literally on top of the water. How are you drowning? It makes no sense. Freaking Crash Bandicoot. Let's get out of here before the pearls get us. Now you might think the exit is close, but you gotta watch out for those octopus. They can get you easily if you're not paying attention. And this guy too. He can get you quite quickly if you let your guard down. Alright, there we go. So we are at the next boss, which is the giant bee. Bumblebee Rumble. But we're gonna save that for next time. Because it is 4:30 AM and we almost recorded an hour. So I think that's a pretty good length for the video. Especially considering that Resident Evil video is 3 hours long. So I think that's a pretty good recording session for tonight. There we go, we're at 32%. We're making good progress. And keep in mind, that percentage is not the stage, it's the bonus stages. That's what they count, the bonus stages. So you can be halfway through the game or more than halfway through the game and it'll still say under 50%, but you're getting through the stages. It's just that you're missing some of the bonus stages. That's what they count as the percentage, not the completion. So it's different from Mario. Because Mario counts the exits for each stage, and that's how you get 96 in the end. Donkey Kong counts the bonus stages, not the actual number of stages. So when it says like 32%, we're pretty much halfway done through the game. What we're missing is some of the bonus stages that would elevate it to 50%. So just be aware. Like I said, it may not look like we've done much, but we're actually halfway through the game at this point. We just missed some incredibly vital bonus stages because I either got rid of the barrel or missed the opening where you're supposed to throw the barrel, or just missed some that were hidden below where it looked like you would fall into a pit but it was actually a bonus barrel. We missed some of those, I'm sure. But yeah, this seems like a good place to leave it at, because next time when we start next Thursday, we can actually start right there at the next boss. And I think we'll finish the game because this actually has a lot less stages than Mario, so it's not going to take us long to get past it. Once you get past the snow mountains area, you know, all the snow and ice stages, once you get past that, the game tends to go pretty quickly. The final area, I think Chimp Caves is what it's called. It only has a few stages and then you fight K. Rool, so it's not an overly long game, which I like too. You know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's pretty brief, but it's enjoyable. Like, it never wavers in quality. Unlike some games today where people want 70 and 80 hour games of mediocrity. It's pretty much like those idiots who say you should pay by the hour. So like if a game is only 4 hours long, they should only charge you $4. You know, those cheapos. Like they'd rather have, and they said it themselves, they'd rather have 70 hours of mediocrity than 5 to 8 hours of a great game, which I never understand that viewpoint. I know Vash doesn't understand it. I know none of the couple other streamers I have understand. The other couple of streamers I watch, I know none of them understand it. It's a very uniquely odd view. The opinion that you'd rather play a 50 to 70 hour game that is half crap and full of mediocrity just to get your money's worth than play a game that's 8 hours but it's a masterpiece. I don't get that at all. Because games like this, they're only like 3 or 4 hours long at the most. If you bother to try to get everything, you know, at the most. And they're pretty enjoyable. Like, even back then, they cost $70, but you could argue they were worth it, because they provided you endless hours of entertainment whenever you replayed them. And I always use the example of Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is a game that is only like, what, 5 or 6 hours short? Or it's like 8 hours long when you first play through, 9 or 10 if you stretch it. And then you can beat it in under 3 hours if you hurry. But the replay value it has is endless. You know, it almost has no comparable game. You know, the only ones would be like Metal Gear. The replay value or Silent Hill, I guess Silent Hill has some replay value too, but yeah, the replay value for Resident Evil 2 Remake is exceptional, and the game's only like 6 to 8 hours long at most. But I'd rather play that than play a 70-hour adventure that has 35 hours of crap and filler and the main story isn't that good. I don't get that opinion at all, where the guys who say, oh, they should charge us by the hour, so if I'll only pay $70 for a game that's 70 hours long. Like, what the hell are you smoking? I know for a fact RoboCop Rogue City is not longer than 12 or 15 hours. I know for a fact it's not 20 hours long, and that game is fun as hell. So I'd rather a game be fun and shorter than long and overblown and stuffed with crap that you don't want to do, because then you're just wasting your time. Why are you going to waste 50 to 70 hours of your life playing a game that you don't want to, that you're not enjoying, and you don't really want to play? You're just playing it because you feel you have to, because you have to complete it to get your money out of, to get your money's worth. Like, why would you subject yourself to that? You know, Metal Gear Solid 5 tried that, you know, with all the filler stuff it did, and it did not work. It showed that you need a good 20 to 30 hours at most for Metal Gear, and that's stretching it, because the ideal length is more like 10 to 15. So like 20, 30 is really stretching it. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 showed that you definitely do not want a long game that's just filled with crap that's boring and you have nothing else to do. It's an empty open world game with nothing to do in it in between missions, and it's boring, you know? And to hear these guys claim that we should be getting nothing but like 80-hour game, 100-hour game, it's like, you really want 35 to 50 hours of crap in between just so you can get your money's worth? Like, what the hell? I have no understanding of that argument at all. I don't understand it. I can't understand how people think that way. But that's just me. I'm just old-fashioned. I'm just an old-fashioned gamer in that regard. So, okay, next time when we come back on Throwback Thursday, we are gonna finish Donkey Kong Country 1. And then we might either move on to Donkey Kong Country 2, or we might try out Siphon Filter, which I bought for the PS4. And they say it's up-rendered and it's been redone in several ways, so that should be good. Siphon Filter was always fun. Frustrating, but fun. You know, old Gabe Logan and his taser that sets people on fire, that's always a good time. So, thank you for watching. I will see you next time on Throwback Thursday with Donkey Kong Country. See you later.